But let's talk about your country release. Just Woke Up is the name of the album. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've charted 3 singles off of this record, right?
Yeah, I charted 3 singles off Just Woke Up, and I'm on to my first single post that album now, and I'm it's probably going to be my biggest one. So
Yeah,
it's definitely moving in a forward direction.
the new song, we will definitely get into that. But I wanted to know what kind of challenges you've faced so far in trying to switch up your genre kind of midstream. You're still doing the stuff with the band and touring
Yeah.
worldwide and stuff like that. So this is kind of a dual threat now. So what's the
Yeah.
strategy behind it, and what challenges have you faced?
Well, I think the biggest challenge was myself at first. Like I think I expected gatekeepers. I think people to go, whoa, 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 hold on, funny guy, pop punk sensation. You're not going to come in here into our world and that's not what I got. And instead, if anyone listening or watching knows anything about Texas country, it is the most welcoming genre of music I think maybe on the planet.
Absolutely agree.
Uh, and I have to say that the biggest thing about it, that's what really drew me in to want to do more. I did this record during the pandemic, and I wanted to play some shows, but I was like, yeah, I'll play some shows here and there, and I'll get like just a guy here that can do this and a guy, but I my first show was insane, and the second show was amazing, and then we had a couple of just again playing in front of teams of people, and but I managed to put together this amazing band of dudes that really want to do this and are
Hmm.
into it and that I really love being around. And then backtrack to the fact that, the clubs and the DJs and the press and more importantly, or I guess as important as the fans, the artists welcomed me. And I was like, I want to be a part of this. This is me. I'm a positive person. I love when people win. And I'm like, man, if this is for me. So it became quickly this thing where it's like, okay, I guess I'm doing two things now,
Hmm.
and so I do both. I do both full time, and so I have a very understanding wife.
I would hope
Uh,
so.
and and a very
uh,
supportive bunch of kids, and three very supportive kids, and yeah, and two amazing bands
yeah.
who each of them root for the other one. It's funny. I my drummer and my bass player is the same in both bands. But my drummer in Bowling for Soup comes to see the country band, and the guys in the country band come to see Bowling for Soup. So, it's nice to just have support, and that's a big factor too.
And to be fair, you're doing a lot more than 2 things full time, and I want to get
Yeah,
into that in a little while. But man, one of the most busy people I've ever seen, and I wanted to talk about your songwriting and how it differs, if at all, between genre. Do you feel like, let me ask it like this: do you notice anything like any noticeable differences when you're writing for country versus writing for Bowling for Soup? Are there differences?
it's really not. I mean, that I guess short answer no. Long-winded answer, I'll sort of explain. But all of my songs kind of start off sounding country because they all start on an acoustic guitar with
Okay,
just me.
right.
And so if I'm just sitting there strumming cowboy chords, and which is just open, just what into the neck chords, then it's going to sort of have that sort of feel anyway. And then once we start to put the drums and the octave guitars and the mean grit and all that into it, it starts to sound like Bowling for Soup. I think where it differs writing wise is just lyrically. Like I can go pretty much as far into the feels as I want to or am comfortable doing in the countryside of
So
things.
it's just content
Whereas
related then.
yes, in
Yeah.
Bowling for Soup, I'm going to give you feelings, but more often than not, I'm going to spin it and try to make you happy about it,
Right.
or
Mm.
make you laugh. Where it's almost like one of those things like my day sucked but this was hilarious.
Okay.
Whereas in the countryside of things it's like I'm going to tell you that sometimes I'm not very happy, and here's one of the reasons why. Or
Hmm.
this is a story about my family, and that we're not every other family but we're who we are. And so yeah, I mean, I think that's the real main difference. The actual writing process itself is pretty much the same.
So basically, the end of the story changes. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, the outcome is a little bit different.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah. So do you feel like your prior success in a different genre helps you or hurts you when trying to move to Texas country?
Well, I mean, I definitely think that it's a help. I mean, because I think I run into people that are fans of the band everywhere I go. So, I definitely wouldn't say that I had to start from square one. Now, it also doesn't translate perfectly. Not every Bowling for Soup fan is going to support the country
Right.
thing. Again, I'm as we have been saying this whole interview, sometimes we have 10 people show up at our country shows, and I'm very thankful for all 10. Um, but I mean, I haven't worried about people showing up at a Bowling for Soup show in 25 years.
Right.
So that's a big sort of advantage, though, is that at least we get the opportunity. A lot of times we get an opportunity to come in and put some people into the room, and then a lot of times the promoter will see us and go, okay, well, you're not ready for this, so obviously not as many people showed up, so we're going to try this. But in the last couple of months, the crowds are getting bigger, and
Mm-hmm.
it really is kind of starting to catch on.
And it will because you're fantastic at what you're doing, even
Thank you,
here in
man.
Texas, man. I'm digging it so much. I can't wait to talk about my favorite song on the country record here in a minute. But I wanted to delve on something I caught you saying about your hardcore fan base that you have with Bowling for Soup. A lot
Yeah.
of times when you have those hardcore fans, man, and you put something out that's a little bit different, they that vibe can be broken. Is that
Yeah.
something you worry about as an artist?
No, because I've been doing this so long. I've done three or four other side bands in the past, and
Mm-hmm.
my the Bowling for Soup fans understand that I'm not trying to make a replacement. Like I'm not even I don't even take time away
Mm-hmm.
from Bowling for Soup to do any of this. All of it, even all of the country, is built around Bowling for Soup stuff. And and I will say sometimes a Bowling for Soup show, it's happened a couple of times where we get offered something and I can't say no and I have to cancel a country show. But at the same time, I've had some things where one's come up and it's pretty good, and I'm like, man, I committed to this and I'm going to do this country thing. So, um but no, the fans are wonderful. More often than not, I get, "Hey, I'm not a country fan. Love what you're doing, whatever, man. I'll keep following Bowling for
Yeah.
Soup." But I also get a lot of, "Hey, man, I hate country, but I love this. Maybe
Yep.
I like country now."
Right.
So, and I always tell them, I'm just like, "Hey, Social Distortion put out a country record. Like you don't have to hate it just because I'm putting a label on it so other people will come see me, not you. Like you just pretend it's me,
I think
and come
at the
on."
end of the day, I think people just need to calm down when it comes to lines. To be honest, I think
Yeah,
everybody just needs like clear cut boxes, and they need to be in one. And why does an artist have to be in the box if a listener doesn't have to be? Right? Like I can listen
yeah.
to country, and then later on I can listen to heavy metal, and tomorrow I might be digging the Andrews Sisters. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
as a consumer, I don't put myself in a box. So why should I put an artist into the same box? It doesn't make
Well, and
sense.
and when music first became popular, in the way that it is in the world that we live in, artists did go from back and forth. People
Absolutely.
would put out a country record or a rhythmic record or a rock record or whatever, and you have bands like like I said, the Eagles, who now you would have, they would be a rock band or a country band or whatever, and that was more rampant back in the day. But you've got artists out, the big artists that are doing it, that I think, obviously I just saw that Post Malone's about to do a country tour, and that guy can sing,
Man,
and I think that's going to be really, really
yeah,
cool,
he's incredible. He's incredible. Very
and
talented.
I mean, the guy, he may be a genius, I
Yeah.
mean, like that. I'm serious. Like I said, actually, when that guy came out, I was like, this might be the closest thing to Kurt Cobain we've had,
Yep.
as far as like guys that are going to just get in there and just shake it up.
Yeah. Somebody just
And
needs to put bubble wrap on that man and
I
protect him.
know,
You
right?
know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know. Yeah, it seems like he's got a good team of people around him, and I think he's kind of got his shit together too.
It
So,
looks like it.
uh,
It
yeah,
looks like it.
I agree. He does look really good.
Yep. So yeah, I wanted to talk about my favorite song from Just Woke Up, and it's one of the good ones. Is co-written by you and the incredible Zach Malloy.
Hmm.
Now, I love this song because it talks about someone in your life who has made his or her mark, and I mean, most of us out there can relate to a song like this. We all have that person in our life. So, how did this song come to be? I would love to hear kind of the story behind it. And can you
Yeah,
tell us who the song is about, perhaps?
I can. It's the first verse is about my best friend Linus, and then the second verse is about bowling for soup. And so now that you know that, when you go back and hear it, you'll hear it. Like driving all night, waking up in the van. Uh, and so yeah, it's a song about those people that I hold dear. That I'm really really lucky. I have amazing people in my life, and so my buddy uh Stacey Jones, who, gosh, he does so much stuff. He was in Letters to Cleo. He's in Matchbox 20. He's Miley Cyrus as a music director. He's just a busy, busy guy. And he just always used to say, "Yeah, man, that guy's one of the good ones." And so I was like, "Man, that's such a good name for a song." And so, me and Zach wrote that. About he kind of started me down the path, and I was like, "Let me go lyrically on this one." And as I sent him the lyrics, sort of, he was just like, "Oh man, this is about Linus, and oh, this is about the band." And so, um, yeah, it's a special song to me too, and I think it's probably my favorite song on the album as well. Up Royal Family just was such an emotional song for me to put out into the
Mm-hmm.
world, but when we play one of the good ones, I get really excited about that one live.
So, man, I have my outline. I always go off of it because of stuff that my guests will say, and I want to touch on something you just got to, and that's vulnerability. Do you feel
Yeah,
like you are allowed to be more vulnerable in country? Is that kind of an outlet for you as well?
100%, and not really allowed. Um,
I guess that's
yes,
not the right word. Yeah, just
yeah,
but
I
you're
mean it's
able
it's
to be.
able to be, yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and honestly, I don't think that it's like Bowling for Soup fans per se that would put that gate around me. It's really
Right,
me.
right.
It's I've always been sort of like, well, I'll put songs out like Turbulence or When We Die that have, definitely a lot of emotion in them, and there's a lot coming from the heart, and there's a lot of that. But I also understand what Bowling for Soup is to people, and we're that thing that you listen to at the end of the day when you've had a really terrible day, and we're the ones that are there to cheer you up.
Yep.
Now we're there for you no matter what, and we've got songs that run the gamut of all of it. We've got angry songs and sad songs and happy songs and all that. But you know I feel like in the country thing, I don't really have that. I guess it could kind of be called a responsibility, but again, it's one that I put on myself. It's again, it's not that I think when I write an emotional song, Bowling for Soup fans have never gone, "Oh man, we really wish you'd be funny," or you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
everybody appreciates it, but yeah, I definitely feel more free to be a little bit more vulnerable in the country thing.
That's awesome. And